very warm welcome to the Question Hour show from the Parliament House complex, where we bring you important unstarred questions asked by the members of the Rajya Sabha earlier and the answers given by the government. I'm Kriti Mishra, and joining me is my colleague Vishal Dahiya.
Well, thank you so much, Kriti, and we'll bring some more questions to our viewers. Let's go in for the first question here, and the first one has been asked by the member K.R. Arjunan, and this one is to the Ministry of Home Affairs, where the member wants to know whether it is a fact that government is considering to expand all paramilitary forces such as BSF and CRPF, etc.
Well, the government says that the augmentation of the strength of Central Armed Police Forces is undertaken by the government from time to time as per the administrative and operational requirements. In the last 5 years, that is, from 2014-15, 2018-19, 47 CAPF battalions have been raised and a new regional hub for National Security Guard has been established at Gandhinagar in Gujarat. The government further says that CAPFs are made available to the state governments on their request to assist them to maintain public order. The next question is by member Kanta Kardam, and she has asked whether the government has decided to set up National Crime Coordination Centre.
Well, the Ministry of Home Affairs has responded to the question in affirmative, and it says that the MHA has rolled out a scheme which is known as Indian Cybercrime Coordination Centre, that is I4C, for the period 2018-2020 to combat cybercrimes in the country now in a coordinated and effective manner. Now, the scheme has following 7 components: a National Cybercrime Threat Analytics Unit, a National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, platform for Joint Cybercrime Investigation Team, and the central government has launched a cybercrime reporting portal to enable citizens to report online content pertaining to child pornography, child sexual abuse material, or sexually explicit content such as rape or gang rape. Now, the central government has taken steps to spread awareness on cybercrime, issue cyber-related alerts, capacity building, training of law enforcement officers, judges, prosecutors, improving cyber forensic facilities, etc. to prevent cybercrime and expedite investigations. Well, the next question is to the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and this one is from member MP Virendra Kumar, wherein he wants to know from the government whether the government has planned any comprehensive overhaul of infrastructure capabilities in the civil aviation sector, given the increase in the number of air traffic.
The answer again is an affirmative, and the government says that in view of increasing air traffic, it has released the National Civil Aviation Policy 2016 on 15th of June 2016 to revamp the Indian aviation sector in a significant manner. The aim is to provide an ecosystem for harmonized growth of various aviation subsectors like airlines, airports, cargo, maintenance, repair and overhaul, general aviation, aerospace manufacturing, skill development, and in compliance with the NCAP 2016, many steps have been taken, which include introduction of Regional Connectivity Scheme or UDAN, which is to stimulate regional air connectivity by making it more affordable. Revival of unserved and underserved airports, airstrips, helipads of the state governments, Airport Authority of India, civil enclaves and central public sector undertakings through a budgetary support of 4,500 crore rupees under RCS UDAN. Introduction of Greenfield Airport Policy for development of greenfield airports across the country by government or by private entities. In line with the policy, Government of India has granted in-principle approval for setting up of 21 greenfield airports across the country. An introduction of scheduled commuter operator under commercial air transport operations. Well, with these steps, the government is trying to give a massive push to the aviation sector in the country, Vishal.
Well, indeed, that's the case here, and that's why all these steps have been taken by the government. Let's move on to the next question now.
The next question has been asked by members Ambika Soni and T. Subbarami Reddy, and these members have asked the government about the number of projects completed under the Smart City Mission of India.
Well, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development has given a detailed answer to this question and says that a total of 5,151 projects at an estimated cost of 2,05,018 crore rupees have been included by the 100 selected smart cities in their smart city proposals. Now, as per Smart Cities Mission statement and guidelines, the central government proposes to give financial support to the extent of rupees 48,000 crore, that is 45% of SCP value, including state share over 5 years. That is an average of 500 crore rupees per city over the mission period. An equal amount on a matching basis is to be provided by the state or the urban local body. Apart from these, around 42,028 crore rupees is expected from convergence with other missions, 41,022 from PPP, and around 9,843 crore from loans. Another 2,644 crore from own resources and remaining from other sources. The government further says that the implementation of the Smart Cities mission is to be done by the city level special purpose vehicle, that is SPV, incorporated under the Companies Act 2013 by the state and urban local bodies having 50-50 equity shareholding. The SPV plans, appraises, approves, releases funds, implements, manages, operates and monitors the smart city development projects everywhere. Well, the next question is to the Ministry of Railways, and this one is from member Rakesh Sinha, who wants to know from the government as to when and how the quality of food served in trains is checked.
The government says that it is a continuous endeavour of the Indian Railways to check the quality of food being served to passengers. And several steps have been taken, like food safety supervisors have been deployed at kitchen units to monitor food safety and hygiene practices. Regular and surprise inspections are conducted by Railways, Indian Railway Catering and Tourism Corporation officials as to ensure that catering services are provided as per laid down standards. Third-party audits of catering services are conducted by independent agencies to monitor compliance of laid down standards. To ensure compliance of food safety norms, certification from Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, which is FSSAI, has been mandated. IRCTC has deployed on-board supervisors to monitor catering services on trains. Further, CCTV cameras have installed in 38 base kitchens for monitoring of food preparation in the kitchens.
Well, in fact, my colleague Kriti Mishra spoke to the member Rakesh Sinha about his response to the government's answer on the question raised by him. Let's listen in now.
And joining us on the Question Hour show is Rajya Sabha member Mr. Rakesh Sinha. Mr. Sinha, welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You asked a very important question on the quality of food being served on the trains. What is the response of the government and how do you take the response?
You know, train journey is very important in India and the most important tools in the, for transportation in the country. And in that case, the variety and quality of food, both are very important. Since 2014, the government has taken many radical steps to improve the quality of food. But I expect the government to do more. There are regions that people need varieties of foods. And most important thing is the cleanliness. The person who serves the food. Because there are many cases where people suffered illness due to the food, quality of food in the train. I am satisfied that the government is thinking, contemplating and discussing the thing and doing all kind of investigation what are the regions that the quality of food is not served in many trains. Most important thing is that there are certain elite trains like Shatabdi Express, Rajdhani Express, their quality of food is definitely better. But in normal trains where the common people do journey, that quality still needs to be improved. Therefore, I expect the government to have a common parameter for all the trains, whether it is a Shatabdi or Rajdhani or the normal train, that people should be served the kind of food they should enjoy with the food during their journey.
Sir, how can the government enhance the cleanliness in the kitchens? Of course, it talks about installing CCTVs, but what are the other measures that the government can take?
No, one thing is that those people who are being given contracts for this, how much they do expenditure on the question of cleanliness. Secondly, the people who are appointed, are they trained to cook? Their training, their lifestyle, these are very important. And because despite the CCTV, there is a regular frequent inspection of the food. That makes very important. Sometimes you will find that in remote area train, the foods are served where you will find some insect or some dirty things and people avoid taking food. I believe that Narendra Modi ji has focused on the quality of food, and his focus is that improvement of the overall system of the train. So we are on the right path. But this needs to be accelerated, and the quality should be judged by the random judge evaluating the quality of the food, and the quantity is also important. Nobody knows how much you are expected to get. People pay money, they get the food, but they don't know so there should be menu, there should be alternative food arrangements, and those who serve the food, they should be well trained. Their cleanliness are very important, and I think this is more important because Prime Minister is leading the Swachhata Abhiyan in the country, which is a very successful, and it is radically changing the atmosphere of the country.
Thank you so much for talking to us, sir. Thank you so much. The last question that we've picked up is from member R. Lakshmanan, and this question is to the Ministry of Labour and Employment. And the member has asked whether government has formulated any comprehensive policy, including enactment of Act to protect the interest of domestic workers who work for private households.
Well, the Labour Ministry in its answer says that a draft national policy on domestic workers is under consideration in the central government. The salient features of the draft policy are inclusion of domestic workers in the existing legislations. Domestic workers will have the right to register as workers. Now, such registration will facilitate their access to rights and benefits accruing to them as workers. Right to form their own associations and trade unions, right to have minimum wages, access to social security, protection from abuse, harassment and violence, right to enhance their professional skills, protection of domestic workers from abuse and exploitation, domestic workers to have access to courts, tribunals, etc., and establishment of a mechanism for regulation of concerned placement agencies as well. So, Kriti, that's all we have for our viewers in this segment of Question Hour today.
That's right, Vishal. Prashnikal with our colleagues Kriti Singh and Arvind Singh on the other side. Stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television.